Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue with our project. So what we want now is to add a loader. When I click on each page here, let's imagine we are clicking here. I want it to load content, but before it loads that content, I want to see a loader here, and then it loads the content. So go to your Google and just type loader GIF. So you can find many types of loaders. As long as it's a GIF image, we are good. So I just clicked on one of these, and this is how it looks like. So I like this one because it's transparent, and so it's a GIF or GIF. I don't know how you call these things. So it's like a video file, but it's an image. So you can choose many of these guys. Look at that. Any will do. So take your time, choose the one that's to your heart's content, and use that. I'll get the simple one, no need to struggle. So I'll right click and say save as, and I'm just going to call it loader.gif. So loader.gif. Let's go to our XAMPP folder where we have this project, and it's called Udemy, in the Udemy folder, and go to the public folder, and in the assets, let's go to images and just save that GIF there, whatever GIF you end up choosing. Yep. So let's come back here and let's set up the GIF here. So let's try in this, let's set it up. Okay, so I'm going to go to my div here, and this is the one right there. So we'll create a function that will show the loader and hide the loader. It's as simple as that. So in here, I just want to design the loader. So I'm just going to put an image tag, and then the source is going to be, of course, root, like that, and then slash assets, images, and then loader.gif, like this. Okay. And what do we call it? Let's give it a class name of loader. Okay, pretty good. Let me remove this here. So let's see what happens. Refresh, and there we go. Pretty good. But I want this guy in the center here, and yeah. Since I've added a class to it, I can always add this. Now, like I said previously, you can add your styles here, but it's a good idea in the end to put all the styles and all the JavaScript in separate files, because it helps with caching. That way, you don't always have to reload these when the page reloads. They'll load as separate files, and they'll stay there while you reload the page. So it's more efficient to send them to separate files, but do that in the end, so you don't get confused. Okay, so let's do loader. Now I want the loader to have a let's see here, what do we do? Let's try position relative. Let me see how this works, and then let me put a width, specific width, maybe, I don't know, 200 pixels, and a height of the same. Oops. I edited the wrong part. Okay, so height and width 200 pixels. Okay, that seems fair. Now I want it in the center here, nice and cozy. So I'm going to say, since we are using the position relative, we can move the left and say 50%. Okay, that should move it to the left side. Okay, good. It went overboard, but that's fine. Let's go the middle as well. So let's use top and say 50%. So it's in the center of the top as well. Okay, not much difference, that's fine. Now what's happening is the top left corner is what it's going with. So that's the top left corner is on 50% here, but I want it to shift a little bit over so that the middle is the middle. The 50% is the middle. so I don't want to start doing calculations. So I'll just use a transform and use a translate, and then I'll just say minus 50%, just translate minus half of the item itself, both on the top and the bottom, and that should solve the problem. Or has it now? Doesn't seem to have. Translate. Maybe I need a comma here. New. Ah, there we go. The only problem is it's relative to the entire thingy here, so it has done the thing here. So what I can do maybe is just translate in the x-axis only and do minus like that. That should solve the problem. Yeah, so we are right in the center here. Or what I could do is get the parent of this loader, which is where is this one? Which is this one, and set that to relative. I think it should have the same effect. So if I do this instead, I don't put the translate x, and we are back to this where it's right up there. If I tell the parent, which is this one, and add a style here and say position relative, the thing here will be forced to be relative to the doesn't seem to work at all. Okay, so scrap that. Let's just do what we did that worked instead of wasting time trying to figure this out. So let's just translate it in the x-axis to come back here, and there we go. You can also put some opacity there and put it at 0.8 maybe, so that it's not too jarring. Let's see, so that it's a little bit transparent like that. It looks much better. Okay, so loading, at least somebody can see that something is loading here. But when we click on the others, nothing happens. So we need to show and hide this loader as we need. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll create a function down here that says show loader. That's how we do it. Every action needs a function. Hide loader. Okay, but really the loader doesn't need to be hidden, because at the end of the day we're going to replace the content of that div, so I think we don't need to. So show loader, and then we're going to apply this loader to a specific item. So I'm just going to say item there, and this is the item. Yes, the item we're going to add the loader to. So I'm just going to say item dot inner HTML is going to be equal to, and then I will grab the loader. So this is the item right there. So cut the image from there, and let's come down here and let's put these quotes I have added are the ones under the escape key. It's called a tilde key. Paste. The reason I'm using these is because wait a second, I actually don't need to use these guys, but let me use single quotes like that so it's easier to see. And this is good. So this route is going to work even here. In case you're wondering, that's because PHP happens on the server side. By the time this document gets to my browser, this won't be root. It's going to be the actual root path that will be here. Okay, so this would have been replaced by that time. So when JavaScript becomes active, it's going to see actual text here instead of this variable from what's this? PHP. Yeah, so this is how this can still work just fine. Okay, so that's what we do, show loader, and then we tell it which item to show the loader in. So here, when we are setting the tab, when we are showing a tab, we start by displaying the loader. Okay, so since we already have this div that we've grabbed, where is that active div? This is the one where we get the inner content, right? This div right here. So we are forced to now give it a value. So I'm going to say var content div, that's what I'll call it, is equal to, okay, and then I will, let me paste the show loader. Actually, let me paste it right at the top here. All right, so we show the loader, and then let me the item is the content div, like that. Okay, and then let's move this guy up here. Let me copy this, let's move it here, because we need to use content div, so we must have declared it already by the time we're using it. So we get it, but we don't equate it to anything, we're just grabbing it. And then finally content div replaces this part here. Let's say .inner is equal to content. Okay, so this we'll barely see this, because we're going to show the loader and then immediately replace the content with this content. So we're replacing in there, so we'll barely see it, but it's still useful. So let me try this and say, let's go here, here, here. So it's showing, but it's just too fast. So what we will do is, but it's okay, just leave it there, it's working, it's doing something. What we need now is to grab content from the server so that we can see the show loader while the content is coming back. So this item where we add items here is going to be from the server. So here I'm just going to say send data. Okay, so we're going to create a function called send data, or I don't know, maybe we need a better name like read from server or something. So this send data function is the one we're going to be using every time we want to read from the server and get some information. So you can call it get data, but sometimes we are sending data there. So instead of saying send and get data, we can just say send data. So send data, and then we tell it what kind of data we are sending. So we're going to create an object to do that, and we'll say data is equal to object. Oops, an object is like this. So we'll say var data is equal to. So when we show a tab, we want to get data from the server and then display it. So all this will go in a different function. So we'll go another function, handle result, like this. I like to keep my functions name the same for all projects so that it's easier to debug. So here what I'll do is grab all this content div and put it in here. Okay, but content div is already here, so we are showing the loader at that point. This is fine, and we can do the same here as well. Grab it and paste. Okay, good. And then content. Okay, so handle result, and then we have the send data, and then we're going to send this object. But this object is empty here, so let's add some content to it. So I'm just going to say data.data_type. So every time we send data, we have to tell it what type of data we are sending, so that on the server side we know what to do with that data. Otherwise we'll get confused, because there will be so much data to send. It needs to be organized, right? So here we need to give it a name. Here we want to get from a specific tab. Okay, and then we're just going to say send data maybe we'll just say tab name, just to be sure about that. And then we give it whatever tab we are on right now, we give it. That's enough to tell us what kind of data to get. So maybe data type as well is required, tab name, and then we say data underscore type is required. And what are we doing here? We are just reading, right? The data type is read. Okay, because sometimes we'll be on that tab and we want to save data. So this time we're just reading from the database, right? And then we need to create this function, right? So let's create it. So let's say function send data. Now to send data, we'll use HTTP requests, which we've done before, right? So instead of wasting time, we're going to go to the profile page view and just copy the send data function here, right? And we did add a progress bar as well here. So maybe we don't need this though. So I'm just going to copy the function itself. There's an event listener for the progress as well, which is nice, but we will not be needing this either. Yes, because all the files that we're going to be uploading, we will use a different function altogether. So copy this and let's go to courses view here. And this is where the send data function will be. So let's paste that there. Now I don't need the progress bar. This is the object, which is the data. So I'll leave it as object like that. Let's look for every reference to prog bar, which is right here. Let's remove that. We do not need this kind of stuff. We can leave this as it is. That's okay. We're adding content to the form, and then we open a request, blah blah blah, handle result. Yes, that's cool. Everything seems fine. Upload, we have a progress report. We don't need a progress report here, so let's remove that. And then we open to the same file here. This is fine. And then my form. Okay, so everything seems okay here. And then when things are returned, we handle the result. That's fine. Okay, so now since we are sending this data to this same file, but in here, now if you look at this, you will not see any difference whatsoever. If I click, oh, there is a difference. So maybe there's an error. So let's check that. Tab name is not defined in handle result. Okay, that's cool. Where is tab name? This one is not defined. Okay. So tab is a universal value. So let's remove tab name and just put tab like so. So refresh. This should work now. Okay. You saw it for a second there, right? Yes, because it takes time to go to the server and come back. Very good. Now, if you want to see it a bit longer, let's go to our courses in admin controller, and let's go to courses. So we are inside the courses function, and this is for the add course. That's not what we are concerned about. We're concerned about the edit course right here. So right here, we want to see if something was posted. So let's copy this. And this is because when we are sending data through here, we are using a form, right? We created a new form. So it's as good as we've posted something. So let's come back here, admin. So it's going to be exactly the same as if we posted something. So let's do that. So if there is a post and not empty, okay, we're just going to put another if statement in here saying if post, let's ask if it's not empty just to avoid errors. I'll do this. Okay, so if not empty, post data type. Okay, this is the one we sent here, data type. We need to know if it's there and it's equal to read. Okay, then we are good to go. So let's come down here. If not empty, then we are in here. So good. Now we can check what it is set to. So here we'll say if a data type is equal to read, then we can do something here. Now when it's read, it's equal to read. Actually, let's just save space by putting this and statement there. And then if instead of data type, we have another one, which is tab name, which should always be there. So if tab name is equal to, okay, so if the tab name is equal to, let's say, course landing page there, that's the tab name. So if it's equal to course landing page, okay, then let me just echo something here. I will say echo hello there, like that, just something simple. And then with this, if something was posted, we don't want to exit this part and read, bring all that. We just want to echo that, and that should be the only text we receive. So let's put die here. So the script will die as long as we post something. It won't go and load the whole HTML page after this. No, because this is an Ajax request, we don't need the HTML page. So let's just see if when we click on course landing, we'll get hello there. And let's come back here to the handle result function. So instead of giving us this tab content here, what content I want in here is going to be equal to the result. Whatever the result is, let's just put that in there. Let's remove this thing here. So content div, the inner HTML will be equal to whatever the result is. So let's change that. Let me click here. The result is empty. What about here? We get hello there. See that? Very cool. So we are getting data from the server, in this case, very specific data, okay, which is nice. Or I can just tell it to return the tab name at that time. So I don't need this if statement anymore. I can just say echo the tab name. Okay, so come back here and refresh. So everyone gets their tab name, as you can see. Okay, so we're getting data from the server, which is nice. Now let's put some real data in here, like input boxes and the like. Let's do that in the next video.